So it's the next day after the 4 day ordeal in the prison. I didn't even get food yesterday. I was so shattered and more interested in kind of like getting everything uploaded and sorting out my trip plans because obviously this whole scenario has really drastically altered my plans, and I'd already really altered the plans before. Because obviously Syria, I think I mentioned it in another video, Syria had basically changed their plans for Brits, giving us 15 days and then 30 days, and I'd already made arrangements, having booked the flights for the original 15-day time frame. But then decided, well, if they're giving us 30, I may as well cancel 7 flights, which I had arranged to the UAE and Bahrain and then Turkey and Cappadocia to make way for this 30 days. But I only had the 30 days max because I've already pre-booked Georgia and I love Georgia and I want to be there for Latin Christmas and the Orthodox Christmas of many years. And I'd already prepaid for everything. So really that was a kind of, I get the 30 just about, and then I have to whiz off to Georgia. I didn't have any more days to spare. And them arresting me for 4 days and basically bringing me to Beirut. And then I've obviously got 2 days of kind of recovering from that, having to respond to emails and do all the various the replanning of Syria or alternative trip options. I just thought, well, it's just not possible anymore. I've lost an entire week. I didn't have any days to spare when I planned on departing on the 27th. So what I've done is I've just booked a flight to Turkey, a really good deal. Actually, it's worked out really well. It's one of these things I'm really good at. Really good at obviously travel bookings and stuff like that. I've been doing it so long, which is another one of the reasons why there was so much suspicion aroused on the part of the Lebanese military, because they go through my bag and they find all these things that are very kind of almost militaristic. And I'm certainly not giving them any leeway for their behaviour. But I've booked a flight which departs at 5:15 from Beirut, which gives me basically a free night. I don't have to pay for accommodation. Hotels, like usually 25 quid I'm paying for this place a night. So it's 25 quid saved. I also got the 2 VIP lounges that I had attached to my initial bookings. And I'm going to use one. I get 3 hours at Beirut Airport, so that's nice. I'll arrive around midnight, have 3 hours in the VIP lounge to get dinner, unlimited drinks, all that kind of stuff. And then I get in at 8:50 into Turkey, into Istanbul Airport, the southern one, Sabiha, I think it is. And then I'm going to hop on a 1 p.m. plane to Turkish Cyprus, which I've always wanted to go to, Erkan. It looks beautiful. It looks absolutely stunning. I had the option to fly directly to Georgia. It's basically free. The flight price, I've just paid £46 of the VIP lounge to Istanbul and then £17 to Erkan with 2 VIP lounges included, luggage included. And from the £46 spent, only 17 of that was actual bank cash, I call it. The rest was free cash from some of my business endeavors on a prepaid card. So yeah, it's just a really good little deal. Super last minute as well. The flights to Turkey are really cheap, surprisingly, even decent airlines with all the perks and amenities added. So then I figured, well, from Cyprus is literally the cheapest place in the world to travel to and from Georgia. It's like £15 to £20 maximum any time of the year, basically. So I can even book now for 15 quid. And I've got so many options. I've got Kutaisi, I've got Yerevan in Armenia, which is actually, in terms of kilometres, a closer distance to Tbilisi in Georgia. Likewise, Gyumri, which is a very small, albeit pretty city in Armenia. So loads of options there. But I figured, well, Georgia's going to be bloody cold. I don't want to be there early. There's only one thing I want to see, which is Prometheus's cave in Kutaisi, which was on my original itinerary prior to the Syrian extension. So long story short, after kind of pondering all the various things, if I was to go to Syria, I'm only going to get now 2 weeks instead of the 3 and a bit weeks intended, because then the issue is, firstly, there's the expense of the visa. It's $150 straight off the bat, and then getting out of the country. I've already promised myself never to come back to Lebanon. If I was to come back to Lebanon, I would break that rule, even though it's the cheapest place to fly out to anywhere else from. I'd pay the $12 entry fee for that, and then another flight for 60, 70 quid, which would be more expensive because it would be slightly closer to Christmas. So that's 300 lost. If I go to Iraq, the visa's now been doubled since I visited earlier this year. It's $160 now, and it's a really long way, all the way up through Baghdad and Kurdistan, and then Turkey overland to Georgia, which just seems ridiculous. There are flights from Syria with AJet and I think Pegasus, but they're super expensive because everyone is leaving and coming into Syria for all the business prospects that are now kind of arising. We're literally talking at about $180 one way for a really short 45-minute flight to like Tartus or Gaziantep, or if I'm pronouncing that city correctly. And then I would have to get from there to Georgia anyway. So the other option is Jordan. Jordan's £45 visa entry for UK citizens, and that would be just money down the drain. And then I have to get 2 flights to get to Georgia. Even though the flights are pretty cheap from Jordan, I then would have to double back all the way to Damascus, because if I intended to go to Syria now, it would have to be Damascus because they brought me all the way back to Beirut, basically, and I don't want to go through the same border that they've arrested me at, because it would be the same dickheads working there. So it just the whole thing just seems like just too rushed and a waste of money. And now I'm kind of out of the mood for being in these sorts of Arab countries after what's just kind of taken place. I would love to go to Syria, but this has all just been fucked up. I didn't have the week to lose. Didn't have the time. It's just not worth spending that sort of time. That sort of money and not being able to see the country extensively. That's why I originally extended from the 15, cancelled the original 15, extended to the 30, and now I'm not being able to have barely even 2.5 weeks. It's just not worth it for me. So the plan is to go to Turkish Cyprus, and I think just wander around there for a little while. It looks beautiful. It looks absolutely stunning. The weather's going to be around 20 during the day, right up until December time. So right up until kind of end of December when I'll be heading to Georgia. So that's the plan. Basically I had a few more thoughts. I just ordered, like I said, I didn't get food yesterday. I went straight to the supermarket. I absolutely stank, but somehow I didn't realise how much I smelt until I got back from the supermarket. I was like, what is that? And it was me, just obviously from being in the jail. So I just went in, grabbed 3 1-litre bottles of various juices, came back, chugged them. I still had tuna in my in my rucksack. So I literally just ate 6 cans of tuna and water, chugged 3 litres of juice, and a couple of other little nibbles I had. And now I've just ordered what I wanted for so long, even before departing for Syria. They have obviously a takeaway app here in Lebanon, like any other country. Oh my God, there we go. Cookies and cream, 1 litre. That is going to be demolished in about 5 seconds. And then I've just grabbed another 3 litres of juices, different juices. I hope these... Got 3 litre juices and some hummus, a little French baguette there, and some meats and stuff. And then I'm going to plan the rest of the trip tonight. Everything's got to be uploaded, so there are videos of the Lebanese military camp, the initial point where they kidnapped me, and then just my thoughts, which I've looked back on the video now, and it is quite cringe, but I'm going to upload it anyway, because the whole point of that was I wanted to express my thoughts in the moment without having slept, looking and smelling like absolute trash, and not being able to articulate myself properly, it comes across in places like that in the video. But I'm going to upload it because it's authentic. I don't want to make something where I'm fresh the next morning and I'm sitting down. I want it to be agitated. I want people to see that sort of emotion. So yeah, that's currently uploading, and I'll keep this short because the fucking upload times in Lebanon, it's taken ages no matter what hotel I'm in. So there we go. Apparently the Pope arrived today or yesterday, and I haven't really looked into that, but I was thinking at one point maybe he'd be whacked and civil war would ensue. But yeah, looking forward to getting out of here. Really, hopefully never come back to Lebanon again. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. It's exciting to get back on a plane. I love airports, so there we go. And I'm intending to just hike and do camping and all kinds of sporty things in Turkish Cyprus. It looks fantastic. So I'll post some videos up for anyone interested.